Good afternoon, everybody. Today's question was, the gabbai goes over to John. I called him John. Going over to John and says, John, will you please do hagbah this morning at shul? John says, listen, my arm, my shoulder, I'm not so sure. The gabbai says, no, we need someone to do it. Reluctantly, he does it. He picks up the Torah after 3 seconds. It falls. It's cut. They save it. But poor John, he tears something, and he's an X-ray, and he's injured and misses 2 days of work. So is the gabbai responsible for covering the X-ray costs, although we live in Canada, so X-rays are free, but the 2 days of work and the headache, and does he have to pay for any of it? So, on one hand, it would appear that he would have to pay. The Shulchan Aruch writes in Choshen Mishpat, this is from Siman Shin Chet 308, that if a person is burdening somebody and they add to their burden, the huzak b'masa said you're chayav b'nezikin. If a person has a burden, you're adding to their burden, and they buckle and they get injured, it appears you have to pay. Shalfa b'shehu ben das, even though the person himself realize, the person you're piling up a person carrying something, and you margish b'koved amasa, you feel how heavy something is. Yaliv machmas chol yohu zakov. You'd think that maybe you wouldn't have to, because after all, the guy says, okay, stop, it's too much. I can't bear this weight anymore. That being said, there's a big difference in the two cases. I will explain. When it comes to the case of you're piling up weight on somebody, that you're doing it to them. You're putting on the weight on them. You're saying, no, you can do more. Here is a situation where you turn to that person and you say, do you want to talk about? And they said, my elbow hurts, my shoulder hurts. Maybe it's not the best idea. You ask again, what should the person say? No. If the gabbai would have had an expert opinion, the doctor says, don't give that person hagbah, he's going to hurt himself, I think the gabbai would have said, at least I hope, they would have given it to him. So the fact that John himself, knowing that he was injured, still picked up the Sefer Torah, he would not, therefore he bears culpability and responsibility and his stupidity for the fact that he continued to do hagbah, even though it was clearly the wrong move. And, which I didn't realize until today, there's actually Mishnah Brura, which actually says that a gabbai should not use gabbai pressure on somebody who perhaps is elderly or weak. This is from Siman Kuf Mem Zayin, which follows in Hilchot Kriyat Sefer Torah, where the gabbai the guy has to sit right away, he has no strength to lift it up. And not only that, but he can't even hold it up long enough. You don't have enough time for the tzibor to even see the Sefer Torah. You need to prevent. The gabbai should not give such a person hagbah. You have to give it to a person who's in tip-top shape, who could raise the Torah that everyone can see it clearly. And sometimes you see these people who don't have an ability to do hagbah, it's best they do not receive hagbah and give it to only people who are strong and bearing. But nonetheless, if you do take hagbah and you know yourself that you can't handle it, you're the only one that's responsible. Don't blame the gabbai. Take responsibility yourself. I apologize. I've not looked at any of the responses yet. I will, and we'll see who wins. Stay tuned for the $5 winner.